Hey, what up? It's Brad with Home Love Construction, and today I want to explain a question that literally we get asked all the time, and that's how long does a kitchen renovation actually take? How long does it take? How long am I going to be without my kitchen living in a construction site? Oh my God, how am I going to do it? Just kidding. That's not you, obviously. But seriously, a lot of people are really concerned when they go into a kitchen renovation of like, how long am I literally going to be living in a dusty, dirty construction zone? Well, let me first off say that when you're doing a kitchen renovation, what we do is if you walk into a kitchen renovation of ours, you should be seeing, dust barriers. You should be seeing zip walls, all that kind of stuff. Like, it should be like a clean area. Obviously, there's still always dust. Like a construction zone, I mean, inside of a house or renovation, dust just goes everywhere, like immediately. Like, we step in the house, we could be doing the estimate, we step in the house and poof, your house is like instantly dusty, is what it seems like. But we do a lot to keep the dust contained. So let me just start with that. But that said, the question of timeline is really important because you have to plan your life around it. And a lot of times the kitchen goes into other things. So you may even have a pod where you're storing a lot of your furniture to keep it from getting dusty. If you've got the restoration hardware, if you've got the cloud couch, like that thing needs to be put away while we're doing this because dust is gonna get into it. You can vacuum it out, but you'll be having dust coming out of it for a long time. So all that to say, the timeline is important. So let me actually tell you what the timeline looks like. So the kitchen renovation has kind of like a couple stages, right? So the first stage is planning and permitting. So and I'm going to speak for the Tampa Bay area of Florida, which is our primary service area. That's really where we live and work. So in the Tampa Bay area of Florida, a kitchen planning and permitting timeline, it usually takes between 6 to 8 weeks, maybe 10 if there's a high volume of permits in the permitting department. So maybe to be safe, maybe let's call it 6 to 10 weeks, right? Basically 2 months for lack of more clarity, right? It takes about 2 months to get your permit, and that's just kind of run of the mill, whatever. So nothing is actually happening during that 2-month period. It's actually illegal for us to start before we have that permit. So we're pretty strict on not starting until we have that permit in hand. Then once we have the permit, then a week or two later, we actually start. We don't always know when the permit's gonna come out, so it's a bit of a mystery. So our demo crew's not ready the next day, so we have to wait. There's a little bit of a gap there where it's like, we got the permit, okay, call the demo crew, get them on. So that is a little bit of a added delay there, but unfortunately it's the nature of the beast. So from there we have demolition and our rough-in trades. Usually this is about a 2 to 3 week process where you're actually gutting the existing kitchen, pulling up the flooring, all that kind of stuff, and then putting your new guts back into your kitchen. This is 2 or 3 weeks. Realize that in a large major kitchen renovation, this could be a 4-week process. If you're having to run a lot of electrical lines back to the panel and your electricians are there for a week and no one else can be there because they're all in the way and stuff and your HVAC guy can't get in between the wires, that could lose a week of hard work. It could eat up a week of your timeline. So realize that, call it 2 to 4 weeks for the demo and rough-in phase. Then you're gonna have a week of what are basically inspections from the county where they're gonna come in and say, okay, was all this done correctly? Then they're gonna come and check all that off, right? So there's a week. So now we're up to about 5 weeks of actual construction on the high end. Then we go into basically the start of what we call like the refinishing phase. So at that point, if you did a trench, like to bring your electrical or plumbing out to your island, you got to fill it in with concrete. The walls have to be insulated and recovered with drywall. Then the walls all have to be painted. So that process of getting the drywall and the paint and all that all done before the cabinets even get looked at is another 2-week process because you got to go and do it, and then you got to figure out, where are all your drywall touch-ups? Boom, get all the drywall texture done. Then you have your paint. Where are all your paint touch-ups? Boom, get all the paint perfect. And then you have your actual cabinet install. At that point, you can install your cabinets. Now, I'll say there is kind of a fork in the road here between different types of flooring. If you're doing a floating floor, you do not, I will say again, you do not put cabinets on top of a floating floor. Any cabinet supplier, floor manufacturer will tell you this, you don't put cabinets on top of a floating floor. So if you're doing a vinyl or if you're doing a luxury vinyl or a laminate, like a waterproof laminate floor, you do that up to the cabinet. So you set the cabinets first. So now you're gonna have about call it 3 to 4 week phase of cabinet installation with a little like finishing things and the flooring installation. All that lumped together is maybe 3 to 4 weeks, okay? So now we're up to let's say boom, plus another 2 to 3 weeks for the drywall, 8 plus these 4. So now you're up to actually 12 weeks of actual construction time. Stay with me here. But now you're close. You're like close to the end. At this point, once the cabinets are down, you get your countertops templated, and that's where they come in and literally measure the exact cabinet layouts. Like, they can't just come and drop a slab of granite or quartz on your countertops. They have to measure to the exact, 1/8 of an inch, exactly what the distance from the wall is, so that the reveal is exactly the same all the way across your granite. That's how they make it look so perfect, is they don't do it until the cabinets are actually set and in place. Very, very important to not do it until then. So they come in and they template. Now you're gonna have a week or 2 gap between the template and actually, while the cutting is going on at the shop, they pull the slabs, they cut it, they do all the edge finishing, then they bring it back a week or 2 later and actually install it. Now we're up to 13 weeks. We have a week for backsplash and trim outs, and then we're actually done and we put our appliances in. So if you take all that together, we're now between 14 and 18 weeks of a kitchen renovation. So what does that break down to? That breaks down to 3.5 to 4.5 months is the real timeline of construction for a kitchen renovation done the right way. And we're talking about luxury kitchen renovations here. We're not talking about, I just want to reface my cabinets, or I just want to refinish my countertops. These is like, gut my kitchen. I hate the way it was done previously. I have a 1970s kitchen, on the beach in Reddington Shores or something, and I just hate it. Just gut the whole thing and give me a complete new one. That's what we're talking about here. Obviously, if you're doing a reface, that's a couple weeks. Like replacing your countertops, a couple weeks. This is a really all-out kitchen renovation, but realistically, the actual timeline is between 3 to 4.5 months, like realistically. On the smaller side, maybe you could get a hair lower than that if you really got everybody stacked up. But what we find is that with little fixes and the things that have to be taken care of, and like little callbacks, there's always little callbacks. What we find is 3 to 4.5 months is realistic for a kitchen renovation. So that said, if you're still up for it after all that, and you're in the Tampa Bay area, I want to do your kitchen renovation. I want my team, that right there, I want our team to be doing your kitchen renovation. So send us an email to homeloveconstruction@gmail.com, or go to our website, which is homelove.construction, or just put in a Google Home Love Construction. The website will be the first thing that pops up. We have a get a quote form on there. You can just go in, boom, put in your information. I actually have a video there explaining exactly what we do with that information. I shot that sitting at my parents' table, funny enough. And it explains exactly what happens with your information, so that you know what's going on the whole step of the way. So if that's you have a kitchen renovation in the Tampa Bay area that you need a contractor for, and you want the best contractor to do it, just send us an email. The rest will be taken care of. Thank you for watching. I do really appreciate it. If you have not already, be sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It helps us a lot. It helps me a lot. I'm personally asking you, please subscribe. It does help us a ton. Subscribe to our YouTube, like us on Facebook. We're Home Love Construction at both of those places. See you in the next video. Let me know what you thought in the comments. I'll talk to you very soon. Peace.